in a year with me and my homeboys. Like, that's how we was thinking. So it's kind of hard when somebody says, am I supposed to be forgiven? It's kind of awkward. I don't know if it works that way. I don't know if it works that way. Especially for those victims' parents and mothers and cousins and friends. I don't know if it really works that way. All I can tell you is, for those kids, don't do that shit. It's beyond nightmares. I've got my lip bit off before, stabbed up before. I done got beat up and jumped before. I done been in jail before. It's nothing worse than the torture in my head. So I hope and pray one day, maybe I might forgive myself, but right now, I know I haven't. And I don't know how to. I really don't. Go ahead, sis.
I just want to thank you for sharing your story, because working in mental health and working with a lot of people and kids and professionals, I think the one thing that's needed is a lot of mental health, not mental health professionals, but professionals that work with children who don't understand mental health, don't understand violence. They do not understand the direct relationship of trauma and violence. And it bothers me because no one does trauma-informed interventions. They want to, let's put money into this initiative to get the guns off the street. Let's do this to encourage the kids to not do this, but it's never trauma-informed, and that's the direct correlation of violence from the trauma that kids experience. And I always think when I hear another kid get murdered, why are the school districts not doing more trauma-informed things to help people understand that these kids are grieving? And so when you have the retaliation from someone who's murdered, and I had 2 nephews murdered from gun violence, all you hear is, we want to go back and retaliate. But no one addresses the grief that perpetuates the violence because of all of those demons in their heads. And we don't get our children the appropriate, in our communities and in our schools, the appropriate trauma-informed intervention. We want to put them out of school because they're dealing with all these things. They come to school and they're behavior kids. With my children that I work with, every time I see a behavior kid, every time I see an anger kid, I see pain. I see pain. So I approach it in a different way, because I know that violence and that anger is coming from direct trauma that they've experienced, but we don't take the time to understand that, and we want to punish our kids. And I thank you for sharing your story, because it's what I've always said. If we want to help these kids in this community and this violence, we have to directly deal with all of the trauma. But in schools, we don't have trauma-informed programs. What you're saying, help kids understand what they're going through so they can deal with it more.
I agree completely with you, but I know one of the main issues is I can get gang members by the drones to come and do mental health services, but the thing is it gets skeptical, because they ask me all the time. You go to therapy and you speak to psychiatrists and psychologists all the time. Do you explain to them things that you've done? So I know I don't. I sugarcoat things, because I'll be dead if I'm coming in to get help and all of a sudden I got cuffs on me and I'm doing life in prison now. You understand? I don't know how the policies work. I don't know if they can even change. I know one thing I was told was you have to find a psychologist that you trust and you respect. That becomes complicated. That's the problem. You know, because it's like, if a kid is going through all kinds of mental anguish and they don't know, I'm sure they would love to tell you that this happened to me, or I did this and I can't sleep and I can't, all these different things, but they have to openly tell somebody and confess their crimes. And if they think they're going to be punished for getting that out, they're not going to do it. You know, it's one of those big issues that comes up. We want to get them mental health and trauma-based services in some of these neighborhoods, but they are already victims of acts of crime and violence. It's like, what are you supposed to do after that? How are they actually going to say and tell a doctor what they've done and how to get treatment and the proper care and help? It's already over the limit. It was over the limit 40, 50, 60 years ago, so they already dealing with, it's already embedded in their system. So it's like, you know, honestly to me, I think a policy should be exempt for that kind of stuff, because it's too late. We already know that if you commit acts of violence, it's a high chance that trauma will affect you later on. You're gonna have mental issues later on. It's super high. If you commit violent acts against people, human people, and you start to realize, you start to connect that you're a human as well, and that the same person that you might love, you did that to somebody's body, it starts to kick in. Those wheels start to kick in, and all kinds of stuff opened up in my head. All kinds of triggers started opening up in my head. The refrigerator slams the wrong way. I think somebody's trying to set me up, smelling food, all kinds of stuff goes on through my head. And I knew it was a direct link from all the stuff that I've done. But when I go in front of a doctor, I'm like, you know, I was bad. You know, I'm saying stuff like that. I was a bad person, you know. But it spooks those kids out there. It spooks some of those grown men out there.
And I think that's the point, though. I mean, if we understand those indicators very early on, our kids will not struggle. But I think so many of us don't understand it. Those kids who overreact so easy, those kids who, if they've been through trauma, they perceive most things as a threat. And most school districts do things like, get them out of here. We're going to suspend them. But those are indicators that those kids are going through some mental health issues, but we don't understand that. We look at them as behavior kids. But those kids who are so easy to overreact to things, simple things, you know, they could have got up this morning, their parents are fighting, and they come to school, and they're irritated with the teacher, and all she does is send them to the principal. When are we going to look at those indicators and say, hey, come here, what's going on? But so many times we don't. We punish, and it becomes too late. But if we understand those indicators very